Welcome to the Shipping Podcast, where I meet interesting maritime professionals sharing their passion for the shipping industry and their everyday job. I am your host. My name is Lena Gosberg. Hello, Shipping Podcast listeners. Welcome to the 97th episode of the Shipping Podcast, where I will be introducing you to World Ocean Council and its president and founder, Paul Holthus. I met him at the Opening Oceans Conference in Copenhagen on May the 3rd this year, where he was speaking about the ocean economy in 2030 and what needs to change. The Opening Oceans Conference is organized by North Shipping, and it's a place for new businesses to meet old businesses. We need to develop new partnership, and we need to see other people than the ones we usually meet, which means that there can be opportunities to do more things and other things and reach higher goals. So, without further ado, this is Paul for you. He will be introducing himself.
So I am Paul Holthus, the founder and CEO of the World Ocean Council.
And what is your background?
So I come from a background of working in international organizations, science and environment, the United Nations, from a variety of perspectives, but always international, looking at and working on marine and ocean environment and sustainability issues.
So are you an engineer or are you a scientist?
Originally, I was a scientist, and then I transformed more into an international organization and programs person, developing these various sustainability programs. And then over time, it became more clear to me that I was also an entrepreneur and concerned and more interested in the role of business in the future of the ocean. So I completely reoriented my career to focus on business, get some advanced education in business, and really as an organizational entrepreneur, as someone once told me I should refer to myself, I'd started several organizations, but mainly my focus then became on engaging the ocean business community on ocean sustainable development, and so I started the World Ocean Council.
And how does that work? Who are the members of the council?
So the World Ocean Council at one scale is a membership organization. So the unique nature, though, of the World Ocean Council is it's multi-sectoral. So we bring together the entire diversity of the ocean business community: shipping, fishing, offshore oil and gas, offshore renewable energy, aquaculture, ports, cruise tourism, but also the investment community, the maritime legal and insurance communities that help facilitate these ocean use industries and all the supporting industries that make those user industries possible. And so we then create focus areas for this multi-sectoral industry approach to dealing with ocean sustainability challenges. At the core, we have members, companies big and small, from across the sectors and from around the world that are direct participants. So big shipping companies, oil and gas companies, et cetera, but also many medium and small enterprises where technology and innovation and solutions are being developed to tackle those environment and sustainability problems, so that the organization works by bringing those different entities together. So innovation and solution providers with, say, big shipping and the investment community to help accelerate the development of those solutions and getting them actually put to work and out in the shipping industry or the other industries. But we're also a large and diverse global network of over 35,000 ocean industry stakeholders that are part of our broader network. And so we have amongst them, we have many, many companies we work with closely to get involved in these collaborative efforts.
So could you give an example of focus areas?
Sure. So we focus on a range of topics. So the broader framework for that is a series of wide encompassing sort of themes, such as the Sustainable Development Goals, such as bringing young professionals together, such as investment, but specific program areas then focus on ocean policy, for example, with the United Nations. More operational programs include work on different marine pollution issues that are multi-sectoral in nature, such as plastics and marine debris, also biofouling and the spread of invasive species, the marine sound or ocean noise issue. So we create working groups around these multi-sectoral issues. We have a major program that's called Smart Ocean, Smart Industries, where we work to engage shipping especially, but also other industries that have vessels or platforms of different sorts to have sensors and data collection devices on those vessels and platforms to help increase ocean knowledge.
Sounds exciting, I think.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of great companies and great people in really great companies that care about the ocean. They care about the oceans that their kids and grandkids will have. And I'd also like to emphasize our Young Ocean Professionals program because there are a lot of great career opportunities in shipping and the other ocean industries. A lot of high-tech, innovative new roles as these industries evolve over time and become very much 21st century industries. A lot of great design and engineering opportunities. So really encourage young professionals to get involved, and these really good companies are increasingly involved in and committed to sustainability and developing things like green shipping and autonomous ships, reducing carbon emissions, etc. So some great career opportunities to help shape these industries that continue to evolve to meet our new societal demands for a clean and green transport industry through shipping and the other uses of the ocean.
How have you been received? How have the Ocean Council been received?
We have been very well received. So we have an increasing number of companies joining as members, a rapidly increasing number of companies involved in our overall network. We have an extensive and growing list of UN agencies that have officially recognized or accredited the World Ocean Council. We have a lot of interest from governments, from intergovernmental agencies, from the environment community, the science community, that really want the World Ocean Council to succeed and see the value and importance of this intersectoral, multi-sectoral collaboration to really have business leadership on securing a healthy and productive ocean into the future.
So how do you see the future for shipping in general?
The future for shipping is one of growth. And so we're going to, as society is growing, all the trends and trajectory are for more vessels in more places more often. And so the challenge then is how do we balance that growth in shipping with these environment and sustainability concerns? And that's, again, where we need bright young people to get involved and help shape the future of that industry. We're going to need better, more sort of circular economy approaches to shipping so that we've got vessels that are built cleanly, operating cleanly, and recycled at the end of their operational life, and with all the most sort of innovative sort of approaches to ensuring that the environmental footprint from shipping becomes smaller and smaller, even as we have more and more vessels operating. And that's quite a big challenge. But the global economy runs on trade. Trade is largely based on shipping. And so we need to tackle this, and society really is looking to the shipping industry to deliver on a new version of global trade and global shipping. And I think the future is bright, but there's a lot of work to be done.
I agree. So if I say that the average ship owner owns 10 ships, if we hear about shipping, we hear about the big companies with hundreds and hundreds of ships. But it's a family-owned business with 10 ships. How do you reach them?
Well, we reach out to, as I say, companies of all sizes, and we do our best by working through our networks and attending shipping events and by getting referrals and introductions. So that's how we sort of physically, get in contact with companies. But I think more important is how do you reach them with a message and create a compelling case for them to get involved in dealing with these sustainable development issues in ways that resonate with them. And that's a challenge for a small company that's always, working to maintain profitability, and that's of course the basis for a business is to be profitable. And so to link that profit motive with the planet concerns, the profit and planet and people, sort of triple bottom line, it's a challenge. But what we work to do by harnessing and tackling these issues across all the industries create sort of economies of scale. So to use a real specific example, one of the programs I mentioned, the Smart Ocean, Smart Industries program, to have more vessels and platforms installing sensors that then collect the ocean and weather and climate data that can go to the international databases. What we can do is bring to the small companies the results of that overall work so that the sensors are less expensive, they're easier to install because we've had this broad approach to it, and make it easy for them to get involved and economically viable for them to get involved. So we really try and facilitate small companies accessing the same opportunities to participate in sustainable development in ways that contributes to their viability over the long term and doesn't affect their short-term bottom line.
Shipping is often looked upon as the Cinderella industry. No one knows about us. And I think maybe you are facing a little bit of the same problem from time to time. I don't know. What can we do to make a change? How can we become more visible to the general public?
I think that shipping, and specifically and most of the ocean industries more generally, can become more public by creating the good news that will get noticed and get into the mass media and into the business media. So things such as making commitments that address some of the core issues that the public and governments care about will get attention. I think the most recent example is, after many years of hard work by many companies and industry groups, the discussions that have culminated in a shipping commitment to reducing CO2 emissions. I mean, that really got in the news quite a bit. And there's, of course, people that say it's not enough or it's too much. So there's still obviously a lot of discussion, but the commitment is there, and that will spark, and it's a very much a goal-oriented commitment, and so it will spark innovation and enterprise to figure out how to meet that broad, ambitious overall target. But that got into the news. So I think addressing these core societal concerns that are in the public mind will bring good news media attention to shipping. As we know, part of the problem with shipping is usually it's in the news when there's some bad news, most typically an accident and a spill. And so if we can have more companies and groups of companies being proactive about engaging and making commitments and implementing solutions to these issues that the rest of the world and the public cares about, that will get in the news, and that will help, I think, change the image of shipping and really bring it to people's attention as a proactive industry that is dealing with its challenges as it continues to provide this essential service to the global economy.
But I've been speaking to journalists, and they say, well, we don't write about buildings not on fire either. So why should we write about shipping?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, that's a challenge. I mean, the bad news is what sells the newspapers, if anybody's still making newspapers. But
then again, we don't need to wait to be asked to dance anymore. We can do it ourselves.
Well, that's right. So that's what I was saying about being proactive. I think, and many good companies are doing this. They're identifying these issues and they're getting on with it. And from our perspective, this is great. But also these issues, these ocean issues, and these environmental and sustainable development issues in the ocean are bigger than one company or even one sector can take care of. Many of the program areas I mentioned earlier that require multiple companies and multiple industries working on them. So companies can and should be proactive and seek out like-minded peers in their sector and beyond, and that's what we try and help really facilitate and foster and make easy through the World Ocean Council by bringing people together and focusing on practical, implementable programs of activity that address those problems. And that's where the future is. And so the recognition will come. There'll still be a challenge getting the general media to pay much attention, but that doesn't remove the need and opportunity for leadership and collaboration to deal with these issues.
Because I also see within the shipping community that maybe half of them are interested in being visible and the other half is not interested in being visible because they're business people and they don't want to share.
Yeah.
But I think also digitalization and other things will lead to that there has to be more transparency, and that will also make a difference on how we appear.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And I've seen over the last number of years, the last decade especially, that a significant change in that mentality of not raising your head above the parapet on these issues, even if you're doing good things, to people and companies saying, well, look, we've got to deal with this. As you say, it's a more and more transparent and informed society, whether companies like it or not. And so there's, I think, been a change in more and more of a change where companies saying, okay, well, we need to work on this, and we don't need to be boastful, but we don't need to be shy either. Let's just do what we're doing, and it's going to get out there, so let's report it correctly. Let's engage with partners who help get the job done and also create the dissemination of information and the transparency. And so that's really, I've really noticed that over the last decade, that more and more companies have that change in attitude.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's the only way forward. I agree with that one as well. But I think that the young people, where do they seek information about oceans and shipping and maritime?
Well, there's overall for the linkage between the ocean and sustainable development and the role of industry. I mean, we certainly at the World Ocean Council are one entry point to that, broadly speaking, and in terms of all the different industries, and can point people to some great industry organizations, some great companies, and some individuals if they have a particular interest in a particular sector that may be appealing to them or that they're investigating, learning more about, and also if there's particular issues that people have a concern about. We know a lot of the experts from the government and the science and the environment community who are colleagues that work on these different ocean challenges that are in the media and in the public's mind. So, we are one place to go to. Most, for the shipping industry in particular, most national ship owners associations have a great amount of information and ability to connect the public and young people with the appropriate information and make introductions to people in individual companies and sustainability directors if that's where the interest is. So there's a lot of resources out there if people take a little bit of time and look for the connections.
And we just had a think tank conversation about networking and the importance of that and how we can develop the entire industry by maybe collaborating a little bit more.
Yeah.
What is your take on that one?
Well, I mean, we're all about networking. So we're a global multi-sectoral network on ocean and business and sustainable development. And so the more that each industry, such as shipping, can, as big and complex as these sectors are, the more that they can be connected up around pre-competitive collaboration in particular to really, form the working groups and form the partnerships that develop best practices or share information, the non-proprietary information that helps other, smart companies will want to share that information and help their peers also raise up. Because the problem for shipping or any other industry isn't somebody else, isn't government regulation, it's not the environment community or watchdogs. It's the substandard performer in that industry, be it shipping or others. That's the problem part of the landscape. And so the more that companies can work together on non-competitive issues to raise the bar and raise the performance of their competitors, who are also good companies, that's good for everyone. And to then create that distinction between good, responsible corporate players and the rest. That's the future, and that's, I think, what networking can really deliver is accelerating and making more efficient that process of ensuring good companies continue to improve and share that way in which they improve with others, and they compete on different things, but around the environment and sustainable development, on diversity and gender equality. There's a lot of these issues where we need pre-competitive collaboration, because these are what a good company should be working on and delivering.
You mentioned something about the female leadership program. Could you please talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, there's some great organizations, and in particular for the shipping industry, WISTA, the Women in Shipping and International Trade Association. And we at the World Ocean Council are very happy to be connected with WISTA, and we want to help address that challenge as well. And so we have our annual Sustainable Ocean Summit that brings together the global ocean business community around sustainability, and we will be working to, this year at the Sustainable Ocean Summit in November in Hong Kong, have a women's leadership and sustainable development business session, to really plenary, high-level, high-profile session to really help draw attention to the great leadership that's going on in the shipping industry and the other maritime industries in the community of WISTA and its colleagues, really bringing women's diversity and leadership to the forefront and doing what we can to help accelerate that in the context of sustainable development.
That makes me extra happy. I just wanted to hear that from you. Thank you.
We'll be happy to be reporting on that as it develops, and we, as I say, working closely with WISTA and key women leaders in the maritime industries to pull that together. So we're very excited about it.
Who do you think I should interview the next? Who would you be interested in listening to in a podcast?
That's a great question. So many people. And I don't know who you've covered already. So what we are really focusing, this year's Sustainable Ocean Summit is in Hong Kong, and we are really focusing on the theme for the SOS 2018 is Ocean Sustainable Development, Connecting Asia and the World. And so much of the maritime industry is Asia-based, as well as many other industries, not just shipping and maritime, but fishing, aquaculture. There's a lot more ocean industry activity in Asia or by Asian companies, and so we're really focusing on that connection. I think it would be great to interview some of the real leaders in the Asian shipping community that are leading the way on sustainable development and have a great concern for the evolution of the shipping industry from that part of the world as it plays a more and more dominant role in global trade and shipping. And so there's a number of people I'd have to kind of go back to my books and give you some specific names, and that's maybe something we can connect on in terms of our event and work with you to get those voices an opportunity to express their opinions and ideas and aspirations for the shipping industry from an Asian perspective.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me.
Thank you, Lena. This is wonderful what you're doing. I share your passion and your commitment, and we need to work together on these things. So this is great.
I think so too. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Best of luck with your summit in Hong Kong in November. You were talking about the female leadership and what you want to do to try and help the diversity to get higher up on the agenda for all shipping and maritime companies. Well, I must share with you that I have just come back from the WISTA International AGM and conference in Tromsø in the very north of Norway. 320 women from 34 countries met in Tromsø and networked for 3 or 4 days. We had such a great time, and WISTA Norway had really put together a very interesting lineup of speakers for how to break the ice, and that was in more than one sense. So it was a lot of focus on the Arctic and what's happening there. And we listened to so many good female speakers. So I don't want to see yet another all-male speaker panel within the maritime industry. There are so many good women who can speak and who has got so much to say and who can teach you something. So I will have to urge you, all organizers of maritime events, please turn to WISTA and ask us. We know so many of them. This was my 15th AGM. I've been traveling the world to attend these conferences. And I can see the developments. I can see what's happening right now. Diversity, gender diversity, platforms, collaborations, so many things happening at the same time. And I actually think that it's the women who are taking the lead. So if you want to do something extra, if you are looking to develop your company or wherever you are, please turn to WISTA, Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, or get back to me and I will connect you. I promise you. So we have got one interview left from the Opening Oceans conference, and that will be the last one from that occasion. I will not tell you who it is. It's a very interesting man. But now I have to leave you and love you, so I will say, from me to you, over and out. Thank you for listening to the Shipping Podcast. Don't forget to tell everyone that you meet that there is a shipping podcast available and that they should download it and listen to the maritime professionals who are sharing their passion for the shipping industry.